Hey, you ready to hear my crappy Clank strategy? Here on my crappy strategy, I'm going to show you guys some ways that I like to play my games. I'm going to give you some strategies that I like to use. I don't always win, but I always have fun. So today we're going to check out my crappy Clank strategy. I call it the fast and loud strategy. I'm going to be generating quite a bit of Clank, but I'm going to be moving at a pretty good clip while I'm doing it. I'm not going to focus at all on buying sword cards, or really, I'm not going to focus on any caution at all. I'm just going to get in, grab the biggest artifact I can, and get out. So let's check it out. Now this strategy, we're going to be moving fast and making a lot of noise, but for sure, that Explore deck is going to be great for this strategy. Whenever you have skill that you don't want to buy other cards with, just dump them right into that bad boy, and you're going to be generating plenty of movement. Now we're going to be fast and loud, so that means we're going to want movement and probably generate some Clank on our way. A couple great cards for that is going to be Dead Run. That's going to generate 2 Clank, but it's going to give you 2 movement, and you don't have to stop in Crystal Caves when you play it. Another card that synergizes well with moving and generating Clank is going to be Swagger. It's actually pretty good for this strategy. You're going to be generating pretty good amount of Clank, so generating that extra skill while you're doing it isn't going to hurt. So let's just check out some movement cards that you might want to focus on if they come up. Of course, Boots of Swiftness is a no-brainer. You're going to move when you buy it, and you're going to move 3 every time you play it. Another doozy is going to be Flying Carpet. It lets you ignore the monsters, and you don't have to stop in Crystal Caves, plus 2 movement on top of that. Pretty darn good. Then generally any other card with movement on it's going to be pretty good, and never forget about the teleportation card, like this Wand of Wind. Alright, now let's make some noise. Now typically people shy away from the cards that generate Clank, but not me. I gravitate right towards them because they usually have a pretty powerful effect to offset the Clank that they generate. Things like Lucky Coin are great to pick up. It's going to draw you a card, generate some skill, produce some Clank for that swagger. Now Invoker of the Ancients is a no-brainer for this strategy. It's going to be generating Clank and teleporting you. And those teleportations can be pretty darn good for this strategy. That way you can skip over monsters, or just maybe go through a 2-step corridor and it'll cost you nothing. MonkeyBot 3000 is amazing for this strategy. It's going to draw you 3 cards. It is going to generate 3 Clank, but we're trying to get in and out pretty fast, and we're going for that big artifact anyways. So drawing cards is amazing for this strategy. And while you're on your way out, do not hesitate to pick up that Scepter of the Ape Lord. It looks pretty bad at first, but it's going to generate 3 skill, and it's worth 3 points at the end of the game, which, if you're on your way out, you might be lucky enough to put it in your deck and not even play the thing. Now, I know we're going to be focusing on generating quite a bit of Clank anyways, but you know what? It doesn't hurt to pick up the Move Silently card, which is going to give you 2 movement and -2 Clank, and it definitely won't hurt to pick up Sneak either, which will give you another movement and -2 Clank again. Now, ideally, this is the kind of deck you're going to be looking for, but that's pretty much perfect world situation. You're going to get a handful of these if you're lucky. But there's always going to be opportunities to keep picking up those movement cards, and people are typically passing up on those Clank generating cards. So the strategy still actually works pretty good. Now another thing that you want to look for when doing a strategy like this, or any Clank strategy pretty much, is card draw. So things like Elven Boots, no brainer. Give you movement, draw some cards. Bracers of Agility, draw 2 cards for only 1 card, amazing. Sleight of Hand, it's going to let you discard some cards and keep drawing cards. And if you're lucky enough to pick it up, Brilliance, draw 3 cards straight up. Now while you're exploring, definitely take advantage of the devices. Things like Ladder, which is going to give you 2 movement, awesome. Teleporter, I already talked to you about how awesome teleportation abilities are for this strategy. And since you're going to be generating so much Clank, you're bound to take quite a bit of damage. So definitely take advantage of the shrines and use them for the healing ability. And definitely no-brainer for this. And definitely gonna want to pick it up. That way you might buy a key with it or whatever, is the vault. Gives you 5 gold, generates 3 Clank, but hey, we're already making plenty of noise while we're down there anyway, so definitely pick up the vault if you can. Now you got your card draw and you got your devices you're going to be using. On top of all the movement and Clank generators you're going to be having, a couple last things you're going to want to check out for while you're exploring is you're going to want to be healing yourself as much as you can. You're going to be generating so much Clank that you're pretty much just going to get out of the dungeon by the skin of your teeth anyways. So pick up any healing cards that you can, like Cleric of the Sun, Amulet of Vigor, or if you're able to buy a crown, the Queen of Hearts is a great one also. And finally, do not hesitate to pick up any of the gems. You're getting Clank anyways, and you're going to be drawing cards from them, and they're always worth a hefty amount of points at the end of the game. So I'm not going to go through all of the deck building and everything like that, but I will explain this real quick, a couple things that you're going to want to try to do as you're moving through the dungeon. First of all, if you're able to, try to pick up the key from the market if at all possible. That's going to help you get down to the 30-point relic or even the 25-point relic. If you're starting to take too much damage, you can get out faster. So definitely pick that key up if you can. So while you're running around, you're going to want to try to pick up these secrets whenever possible. That way it gives you a little bit extra boost, and you're going to be generating a lot of movement anyways, so it's not going to hurt you to go ahead and pick one up. Maybe get a couple swords to fight some monsters through the corridors, because you're not going to be buying any sword cards throughout the game anyways, unless you have to, of course. Or these big relics give you some points at the end, or maybe they'll heal you, which is perfect. So if you can pick up a bunch of these healing potions, that's the more and more damage you're going to be able to take and stay alive. So if you're able to get the key to get down to this 25 or to this 30, you can. Or if you want to really push your luck and teleport into one of those areas, you can. But if you have the key, that makes the strategy a little bit less risky. But hey, maybe risky is your middle name. But if you don't have a key, definitely get to the highest number artifact you can and then get out. Don't go for the puny little 5-pointer. It's not going to get you a whole lot of points, and you're going to want to push your luck a little bit more anyways and get a big beefy relic like that. Or if you're lucky, one of these two. Or instead of teleporting in and taking a shortcut, you can take the long road to get to this 30 piece anyways. But if you're taking too much damage by that point in time, go for the 20. But if you can, definitely try to push your luck to get that 30. And definitely take advantage of the heart spaces. There's not a whole lot of them, but if you're close to them, it might be worth it just to hit in and then back out, just to heal a little bit more. Well, there you have it. That's my crappy fast and loud Clank strategy. Now, this strategy is going to work for pretty much any version of Clank. I haven't played the Mummy's Curse one, but I imagine it'll work for that one. So it's going to work for base Clank. It's going to work for Clank in Space, the Sunken Treasures expansion. You just want to get all that movement you can, get the biggest artifact you can, and try to get out before that dragon eats you whole. Because you're going to be generating so much Clank, and you're going to be taking quite a bit of damage. But my goodness, there's not many rushes that you feel in a board game that I've experienced, like knowing you have most of the Clank in that bag, being 1 or 2 spaces away from the exit, and then that dragon card gets flipped up and you see somebody's hand running in there. You're like, oh my gosh, I have 1 health left, and if I can get out of this dungeon unscathed, or well, scathed, but just by the skin of my teeth, I might actually win this. Now, most of the cards you're going to be picking up, because they generate Clank, they're also going to be worth a lot of points. So you have a pretty good chance of winning. If you can get out completely, you have a really good chance of winning. But typically with this strategy, you're at least going to get out of the depths because you're going to be moving faster than everybody else. You're not even going to focus on picking up swords. So you're not even going to focus on killing any monsters or anything. You're just moving, you're just focusing on booking it in, booking it out, and hopefully you win in the meantime. But if you don't, you're going to get a pretty good rush by just keep putting more and more Clank into that. We call it the Clank generator. I'm not even sure what this space is even called. But anyways, guys, that's my crappy Clank strategy. Let me know what your Clank strategy is. And maybe it's more fun than mine, but I don't know. Mine's pretty exciting. Well, until next time, guys, don't be afraid to try out a new crappy strategy. Maybe it'll be a new winner. See ya.